All right, sir.
Okay, it is. Okay, good. Go ahead.
So we're gonna go live now. Good night. Good night, everyone. Good night to you all from wherever you are, local or abroad. Let me welcome you to this, the 23rd episode of the Saudichress show. Seems like my monitor is a bit too loud. I might just have to turn it down. Um, so let me just check. Just give me a minute. Let me turn down my monitor, please. All right, thank you. All right, so people, again, before we take much of your time, I've seen 9 persons waiting for a while, and so let me just welcome all the new fans, all the new viewers for this night, for this episode, and to the Saudichress channel. I encourage you to subscribe, like, and share as you join the channel. This is the way we will grow through you and your assistant. Again, our guest tonight, you would have noticed, our guest is Mr. Jermaine Harris, the principal of the Edwin High School. Let me, and you also need to help me, welcome Mr. Jermaine Harris. Welcome, sir. Good night.
All right, good night, Mr. Wittig, and thanks for having me. My batchmate and long-time friend. Happy to be on your show, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. You are most welcome. Tonight's show will actually be featuring everything about Edwin and most about Mr. Jermaine Harris. Tonight, as you know, Wednesday night is devoted or scheduled for education. So let's talk education. That's where we are. But tonight we'll be looking or taking you through 59 years in existence of the Edwin High School. A big school, not just in size or population, but what and who Edwin has possessed over those 59 years. Again, we are happy to have Mr. Harris with you, and thank you very much for the first time viewers, as I said before, and hope that you participate as well. So tonight we see 1 person so far in the chat. Let me say welcome, and we have 19 viewers so far online or on the show. And people, 19 viewers, and we only have 12 likes. So let me ask you to hit the like button as we go along. Thank you. Mr. Harris, you are the star of the show tonight, sir. In my presentations over time, I allow our guests to introduce themselves, especially in the short time. So I won't be able, or will not be able to cover everything about you. I know you have a lot of accolades, and so I'll ask you, in a nutshell, give us our profile. Tell us a little about Mr. Jermaine Harris. Seems like we have lost Mr. Harris there, unfortunately, but I'm sure that he will rejoin us. And so, people, as I ask, continue to hit the like button. And for those of you who have not yet subscribed, please do so you'll be able to participate in tonight's show. We'll be looking deeper into the Edwin High School, their attribute, not just an attribute as we look at it, but as a school, Edwin firstly, I would leave some things for Mr. Harris to make mention, because I know that he will be talking a lot. However, in that way, we definitely, well, he's back with us. Mr. Harris?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay.
Mr. Mr. Wittick, are you hearing? Are you seeing me?
I'm hearing and see you quite clearly and loudly too, sir. So
All right,
as
I'm not
as
sure what just happened, but I lost connectivity. I'm not sure what happened.
one of these things, that's technology on a whole for us here in Jamaica, and I can say almost everywhere in the world, because I've been to other countries, more so the United States, where the internet connection was a bit poor. So thank you very much for rejoining. So as I was saying, sir, tell us a little about yourself. Give me an introduction in short.
All right, so where do I start? So my formative years of education started in my hometown of Kellits. So I attended Kellits Basic, Kellits Primary, and then Kellits Secondary, now called Kellits High School. Now, interestingly, I want to share with you and your listeners and viewers, as I always do this, especially when motivational talk for the youngsters, that I did not pass. Yes, so in those days you had to sit the common entrance, and then you would be placed at a school. But if you didn't get a chance to sit it, then you would be placed at secondary schools back then. And being placed at Kellett Secondary, I thought that my world ended based on the culture at the time. And I must say that it still continues today, where there are some parents and some teachers as well, and students who believe that if you're placed at a brand name school like Edwin in high school, then then you know you're destined to fail. So starting my journey at secondary, it was really a challenge for me because my peers were placed elsewhere, and I had to dig deep to convince myself that I had some self-worth. But I want to thank my teachers, some of my teachers there, and I just want to make mention of some of them because maybe they are on. So you have a person like Mr. Foreman and Mrs. Barkley, Mrs. Roberts, Mr. Harris, and Mr. Ross, just to name a few, who took us under their wings and help us to realize that, hey, it's not the school that you attend, but it's what you really want to achieve. So those 5 years at Kellett Secondary, they were pivotal for me. And I want to thank those teachers. And many of us in my year group would have gone on to do well and are now holding their own in society. After Kellett Secondary, as a 17-year-old, I then transitioned to the Michael Teachers College, now Michael University College. And those 3 years, I believe, were the defining years of my life. I mean, as a Myconian yourself, you can appreciate that there's just something about the Michael ethos and the Michael culture and the Michael training that really prepares you for life. And after receiving those 3 years at the Michael, I was now prepared to take on world, so to speak. So I left Michael in 1999, came back to my alma mater, Kellett High School, and I did 21 years at Kellett High School. I went through the ranks as a classroom teacher, form teacher, grade coordinator, head of department, dean of discipline, vice principal, acting principal. And then I realized that, hey, but I have done all that I could for Kellett High School. And now I need to take on a new challenge. And there came Edwin Allen. Advertisement went out, did the interview, and I got through. So in September 2021, I moved over to the big school, the number one school in the Western Hemisphere, and the brand name school, Edwin Allen High School. So that's a little bit in terms of my educational evolution. Jermaine Harris is a humble, hardworking individual, one who believes that whatever you put in, you will get out. And I have always worked hard, and I believe that with the favor of God Himself and some committed and dedicated people around me. This is where Jeremy Harris is now, as an individual who is willing to transform lives. And we're doing that right there in Frankfield at Edwin High School. So, two children and two girls, and I am one who believes that education is the equalizer in the space. Once we are educated and prepared, then opportunities will come. So that's a little about Jeremy Harris. Whatever else you need to know, feel free to ask.
I'm sure that that's a whole lot. And of course, our viewers will be eager to hear more from you. So before we go any further, let me really acknowledge the persons we have in the chat tonight. We have Angelica Hollett Morgan. Good night. Good night to you, Mrs. Morgan. I can see that you're a first time viewer. Thank you very much for joining us. Again, we also have Joel Mitchell. Good night, everyone. Good night, Joel. Seems to be a name that I have never seen before. Thank you very much for joining the Saudichress show. We have Gans Campbell. I hope I pronounced the name properly. Thank you. Good night. Good night, fellow Compre peeps. I mean, coming from the Compre family. Thank you very much. We have Nikki Madden. Good night, everyone. Good night, Nikki. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. Christine Lawrence. Good night, everyone. I can tell you, sir, your presence have brought a lot of females in the show tonight. Thank you very much, ladies. Mr. Lee, ever present, ever here, man. Good night, Sir Lee. Big up yourself. Dale Thompson, as usual, looking from those eyes. Don Ferran. Wow. Good night, everyone. Good night, Don. Big up yourself. Thank you very much for joining the Saudichress show. We also have another continuous viewer, Terry Robinson, the man they call Gibbs. I think you know that name, Sir Harris. Yes, man. I tell you, the man coming out of Bahamas right now. Pleasant good night to all.
I just want to share with you, man. I know he's also we rub shoulder aspect as well in the Church of God of Prophecy. So that's where I remember it from as well.
I tell you. All right, Gibbs, you never know some people that come and let out the business, right? And the Saudichress show.
Brother Robinson.
Yes, Brother Robinson. Hey, man, he mentioned thanks. You're a long time batchmate. I mean, Michael, man, big up you and bro and host, respectfully. Leo Face, good evening to the Saudichress family, and special good evening to the principal of the prestigious Edwin High School, Mr. Harris. Of course, that's coming from Leo Face. Denton Powells, the man they call Flasher. Big up yourself, Flasher. Good night to all. Well, Flasher is a long time man, you know. Hey, Flasher is not an Edwin past student, Mr. Harris, but I tell you that you have some people you would never believe that they never attended Edwin. They are a strong supporter of this Edwin school in all aspects of life. Christopher Warrell, the man they call Bob. Good morning. You always coming from down under, Bob. RR, ever present, ever sure. Greetings to the principal of Edwin Allen International High School. Yes, man. All right. Him say, greetings to the principal of the Edwin Allen International High. I have some questions for you, you know, so you go and talk about, say that again, that international business is very serious, sir. Big up the F squad and Captain Sadi. What I mean, thank you very much, RR. You don't know. PBA squad. Gregory Messam, Sir Sadi and Mr. Principal. Skippy Cashing. Sir Sadi, can you find star E? You know, go man, we have to find all the stars, you know. And especially when it comes to Edwin Allen, that's what Edwin Allen possesses. Stars all over. Alwyn Bryan, I mean Alwyn, thank you very much for joining Alwyn. He's coming from and one of our own footballers this year. Again, thank you very much. So, yes, sir, you made mention of some teachers in your time who supported you and encouraged you through high school, you know. Were there anyone or any persons who encouraged you, say, listen, you need to take on this big mantle now. Go out and find that institution for yourself. Did you get any encouragement from anyone of that sort?
Certainly. I've always had strong mentors in my life. I want to pay homage to one, Alexander MacDonald. Don't know if you know that name. He used to live in 7 Brown, but he's now deceased.
Yes, sir.
He's always one who believes in me. As a matter of fact, he was very pivotal in my transitioning from secondary school slash high school to college. And he always um, shared with me that, hey, I think that leadership would have found you rather than you find leadership. And as a result of that, he always inspired me to take on new challenges. But in recent times, when I was at Kelly's High School, there is a past student, Edwin Allen past student, Rolando McLeod, Rolly.
Yes, sir.
I mean, he always um, there to say positive words and to guide me through. And I remembered when I acted as principal, and I told him that, I think that I need to take on new challenges. And he was always there to encourage me to say that, yes, you can do that. So I must recognize him in particularly, but there were also others who believe that, a matter of fact, from early years, I have been serving in the capacity of a leader, right? From head boy, from prefect to head boy to Michael, where I serve as a sports rep. So leadership is always something that I have always been asked to do. So therefore, it didn't come as a surprise to me. Sometimes I pinch myself, yes, to say, hey, am I the principal at this prestigious high school? But I believe that I was prepared and mentored and trained for this day. So yes, there were several persons who had an impactful um, part to play in my life.
Very good. Thank you so much for that response. Sir Harris, we heard you well, and we recognize that you have taken on not just a school, but as you hear one person mention, an internationalized school, so to speak. You have taken on the principalship at Udinalin, more so just coming out, or maybe in the mid of a pandemic. We all know what the challenges were in terms of in the island, in the country itself, and worldwide. What were some of the greatest challenges you faced at Edunalin in your first year?
All right. So interesting question because as a leader yourself, you will understand that we weren't trained for this sort of experience. I mean, this is the first pandemic in a century, and therefore we weren't prepared, we weren't trained, and we didn't have the resources to undertake this. So one of the greatest challenge for me was that, and for past students and others who understand the dynamics at Edwin Allen. Edwin Allen is a comprehensive model school. So the school caters to the holistic development of the children there. So when I got there, there were students who were actually training for boys and girls championship, and there was a lockdown, and so there was this sort of a struggle for me to say, Mr. Dyke, do we really need to get the children to go home, or should we, abort the program, etc. So that was one of the challenges that confronted me, where I had to make a decision, yes, to either keep the students or to send the students home. But quickly I realized that, hey, the custom and the culture at Edwin Allen is such a rich one as it relates to track and field. And I had to know, call my senior staff together, call Mr. Dyke together, the board members got involved, and we rally around the team, we rally around Mr. Dyke, and we did pull it off under difficult conditions because I went there when we were still online with the school system. So that was a big challenge. Another one, we had about 700 students coming online for classes, and it was difficult to motivate the parents because some of them did not have internet access, some did not have devices. So we had to find creative ways now of having printed materials, and the principal, the vice principals, the guidance counselors, we had to drive into the various communities, and the communities are many, because you have to go to Kellits up that side, you have to go to Maypen side, you have to go to Manchester side, you have to go as far as Trelawney, and so on. But eventually, we were able now to get the number up to over 1,000 after I got there, because we now try to find those kids, and they sort of started to show more interest in coming online. So those were the two major challenges. One, to get the students to access online learning, and two, to continue the track and field program in the pandemic.
I heard you make mention of the track and field. Unfortunately, I don't know if you're coming to it, but I don't hear anything about the footballers during that time because
Well,
I
the footballer came after a little bit. So when I went there, it was September.
okay.
Yes, I'm happy you met. Yes, yes, the footballers were there as well in camp. Yes, yes, yes. You're dead right. So the footballers was there, but it wasn't so much challenging for the footballers, because it was just probably about 25, 30 of them.
Okay.
But you're looking at almost 200 track and field students. So the dynamics was, it was more difficult on a logistics basis to manage the track and field. But yes, I do agree that the footballers were there, and we did work miracle with the help of PIBA. And I know that at some point I will certainly, highlight what PIBA has been doing and assisting me and the school in one, winning the Ben Francis Cup title for the first time in the school's history, and two, we went back to the final. As a matter of fact, it happened in the same year. Persons do not remember that it is really 2022.
That is so
We
true.
won
That
it.
is truth.
We won it early in the year, and then in the latter part of the year, we defended it. And unfortunately, we weren't able to take home back the title. But yes, the footballers were also a challenge. But I want to thank Coach Burton and the assistants from PIBA and the team for us to pull off that historic win.
So well, I have to talk about the footballers, because they were there and being a part of PIBA. I remember when it was like a touch and go situation, if or if not, as it relates to the competition. So that's where the memory comes. So you make mention of numbers as it relates to the athletes, track and field, and what is your present enrollment at Edwin? And so give way both as it relates to males and females.
All right, and the figure that I'll give you is unofficial. Why I say unofficial? Because of the pandemic, we are still crunching the numbers to get the exact figure. But based on our last census, we have approximately 2,150 students at Edwin Alley. And you're looking at a breakdown of roughly about 1,300 females to about 800 something males. So you're looking at roughly 2,150. But why I say unofficial, because there were some students who did not come back after the pandemic. And even though the transfer process um, is one that some schools may not be adhering to, where you know that the receiving school have to give the acceptance letter,
Good.
and then that acceptance letter have to now come to the current school that the child is attending, and for that school to determine if you want to release the child. But we are picking up that some parents would have transferred their children without following the formal process. So what we're doing now as a school with our guidance counselors, our vice principals, our form teachers, is to audit the registers to check to see if those numbers that we have actually are the numbers that are on board. But unofficially, we're looking at our 2,150.
Sir, all right. I understand. We all get a feel of the challenges that the pandemic actually placed on us. But in your own estimation, or with the help of your guidance counselors, do you have any students who you believe are unaccounted for? You don't have any idea if they are transferred or they are just out of the system just now.
I wouldn't say technically they are not unaccounted for, but we are trying to make contact with a number of students. Because of the geography of where Edwin Allen is located. It is very challenging. It stretch our limited resources because we have students all the way from Westmoreland. Yes, that's how far we have students coming from. So what I have done recently, and I'm working with the ministry guidance council unit, we have students who are in our register, but they have not attended school from the pandemic. But we don't have the official transfer record to say that they transfer out. So the guidance council unit, yes, is helping us. I remember they gave us two persons, what they call the yard to yard initiative, where they would now send persons out to check. But that was discontinued. So we have to now rely on our guidance counselors, and I hope that the ministry will come on stream with this program once more so we can have more persons traversing the various communities. So the short answer to your question, we are not certain if they are Edwin Allen students, but we have to now do the yard visit because we don't have contact information for these students. So by the end of this year, we would be in a better position to give a definitive number once we audit the list and we find out where these students are. Are they our students? Are they at home? Are they pregnant? Are they working? Etc. So we have to do that, and it is mainly the senior students, grades 11,
Oh,
12, and 13.
wow, very interesting. This has been, yeah, a great challenge right across schools in Jamaica. But as you mentioned, I hope that the Ministry of Education would have seen it fit to continue or even to upgrade the yard to yard initiative that they have implemented earlier. I've seen where it bear fruit, but we have to be very consistent if we want to get things done. I mean, 2 days, 2 weeks, or a month will not help the situation. And sir, I acknowledge that your school is probably one of the largest school as it relates to population in the school. Where do you stand as it relates to school size in Jamaica, or
Well,
probably in the Caribbean?
I mean, based on the data and conversing with ministry personnel and principals, unofficially we are the second largest single shift school in the Western Hemisphere, right? Because you have to look at per capita. You know that Jamaica is one of the larger English-speaking Caribbean country. So we are second to St. Catherine High School, based on my research. Now you might have shift school having more because they have two shifts, but single shift, based on our 2,000 plus population, we are second largest single shift. So it's going to be twice, three, four times as challenging as some schools that have. I mean, my neighboring school um, up north to us, I won't call the name, which was 450 students. I mean, another school has 700 and something students. So we have a large number that we have to police and make sure that no student is left behind. So certainly it's a challenge, but it is one that my team and I were ready to take on and to make sure that this great school continue into another 60 years, as we approach our grand 60 with much success.
Give us a breakdown of your staffing.
So we have active teachers because we have some positions that we're not able to fill. So we have 110 active teachers there. The establishment is 115, and we have 38 non-teaching staff. So that is a breakdown. So teaching 110, and that includes three vice principals, three guidance counselors, one dean of discipline, apps coaches, HFLE teachers, numeracy coach, and classroom teachers. So that's 110 active.
Sir, I'm just going to ask this question, but I want to hold it until I get through some of the chat. Jamaica in recent time have been suffered in terms of brain drain in our classrooms, where a number of our teachers have moved away from the Jamaican system to what I would say probably greener grass. How affected Edwin is. But hold the point. Get back to that. Let me just take the chats before they missed us. Gregory Messam again, Sir Sadi and Mr. Principal. Yes, all right. I read that one already. Sorry about that. Bupi, welcome, Sir Principal, to the Sir Sadi show. All right, Bupi, thanks, man. RR, ever sure. Big up yourself as usual. Up the channel. This man take the chair of the great Caesar. You hear that, sir? You took the chair of the great Caesar. So far, we find no fault with him. That's good coming from RR. All right? Again, people remember to touch the like buttons. We still have a few less like than persons in the chat. Gregory, Sir Sadi, is Mr. Harris related to our own big bro, Sir Ricardo Green? I want you to listen to that one, sir. He's asking if you are related to our own Ricardo Green. Talk truth, no, Sir Buppy. So apparently there's some of us, we have a Ricardo Green that, trust me, sir, that's not a lie. You look very much alike.
Okay. Well,
so Gregory wants some clarity on that.
I'm not sure. It's a possibility, but I don't know.
Do you have any...
I have also been told that I have a little resemblance of a soccer coach. So and then I would like to have a resemblance of Usain Bolt.
You sure is it Usain Bolt you want to resemble or something else of Usain?
I think it has to do with other things. Yes. If Robert Green is Robert Green?
No, Ricardo.
Ricardo Green. All right. I'm not sure, but probably one day we will check to see.
All right.
So maybe my name is Green, or maybe his name is Harris.
Well, you probably need to check that out, sir. But I'm sure Gregory will come back with that. He is a man who knows everyone on the planet, especially anybody related to or associated with Edwin Allen. So you Smalling, the man they call Nose, greetings to the Saudichress family. And I'm sure you know that one to Mr. Harris.
Yes, certainly.
Yes. RR, bless up Sir Gregory Messam, up and gunning. Wayne Ashley, another Edwin Allen past student, my classmate. Big up Sadi and Sir Harris. Respect Sir Ashley. Yes, man. Again, let me continue. Wow, there's so much chat here. Original Smalling, blessings on them knee and ankles. Many mileage for Edwin Allen International High School. Never switch, never sell out. I tell you, I remember Sir Harris while I think I was in grade 10 at the time. A particular nearby school who came to Edwin Allen scouting some footballers. I was involved, person scouting, and I sure knows was one of them too. And they were leading us to their institution, Sounds very interesting, but we had to hold on strong and stick by Edwin Allen. So we don't sell out Edwin Allen any at all, and we continue to drive strength in Edwin Allen program. All right? So Taylor, good night. Good night, Marlanzo. Respect. Thank you for joining. MGTV, bless up Saudichress and your guest. Bless up yourself, MG. I tell you, MG is one of my mentor on YouTube, so I have to acknowledge him. All right, so what's this? Alsha Rose, again, just I'm not good at names, even though I'm seeing clearly, but unfortunately. So Rose, speak up, Mr. Harris. Okay, I can hardly hear you, sir. So Mr. Harris, Rose is saying that they are not hearing you clearly. I'm not showing that for everyone. So could you, turn your mic up so that everybody can hear you loud?
Are you hearing me loud and clear?
Well, I am, but sometimes when it transmits from our system to YouTube, it may a bit so. Yes. Just see how best you could.
Right, I'll try and project my my voice,
Yes, go back to
I
the.
put on a principal voice.
No, man, you can go back to the teaching voice. I know you don't project as much as a principal like when you used to project in the classroom.
Well, I have to now balance it.
All right, thank you very much. So, nose at RR, bless up me general. Campbell, wow, students from Westmoreland. Listen,
Yes, indeed.
sir, you have a lot of answers, you know. Westmoreland, how did those students reach
My,
Edwin? But hold on up, let me just take it through, sir. I know you're anxious to answer those questions.
okay.
All right, so RR, sanitize the fingers, push the like button, people. Thank you very RR. That's your job for tonight. Continue, people. 42 persons are sick concurrent viewers, but yet still we only have 32 likes. At least 8 more. Thank you very much. So sanitize your hand as what RR said. Hit the like button. Dan Ferran, that number sounds like you need another dean of discipline, sir. Wow. Lawrence Pommels, I mean Larry Freshier. Good night, everyone. Lawrence Pommels, one of the greatest auto mechanic that I have seen, still doing his trade abroad, and he was trained right there at the Edwin Allen High School. Big up yourself. Thank you very much for joining us, Lawrence, big brother. All right, so Campbell, they need at least 3. So you're listening. I know you need them. I don't know if these persons can help to sponsor or to pay. I know the ministry is always trapped for cash, so the employment thing is very tricky in the schools. Great job, my batchmates. That's coming from Tamika Hall.
Oh yes, I remember. I
Yes.
remember. I remember her.
All
So
right.
like a
Listen,
Rogerite.
listen. I don't want you to get into that part of it right now,
No, no, I
because
remember as a
you,
Rogerite, but
you,
there was only one house there. So
no, 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 sir. I ask you.
let's not even
I'm
speculate on
just
that.
cautioning you, sir. Be careful of what you speak about Rogers. Rogers is the only house at the
It is your
micro.
show, so I will behave myself tonight.
All right, Rose. Big up my son principal up top. Big up yourself. All right, so that must have been a parent. So I want to big up his son principal. All right. Legends of Rivalry. Bless up the program. Yes, Paka. All right. Legends of Rivalry. All things Edwin Allen. All right. Rose again. Arisha Rose. Yes, sir. Your voice good now. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. You're up and out. Tamika All. Autogram to the world. So she wasn't Rogers, That's why I was trying to say, hold that peace. She was AG. All right. So I was saying, sir, earlier, you make mention of the where are we again? You make mention of the your numbers as it relates to where students are from, and somebody make mention asking students as far as Westmoreland. How you get students from Westmoreland to Edwin sir?
All right. I guess one of your um, viewers would have mentioned about Edwin Allen International. Right. Now, when I got to Edwin Allen, I realized that it is not an ordinary school. Edwin Allen is a brand name, and it's not because I am the principal there now, but based on the rich history and traditions and what we have achieved over the 59 years. We became an household name all throughout Jamaica. As a matter of fact, I realized that we have to be so careful at Edwin Allen because everything makes the news because we are a brand name school and Edwin Allen said. So to answer your question, Mr. Whitty,
Yes, sir.
um, students would have heard about our comprehensive program. So most of those students who came from Westmoreland, most of them are attracted to our rich sports program.
Okay.
Tina and Tia, they are from Westmoreland. So they don't travel from Westmoreland, but our dorm system at Edwin Allen, we are able to house them. So even though they are from Trelawney, Westmoreland, once the parents realize that their children have some, sporting talents, then they would, seek after the best school in the Highland to get their children to perform. So we have students coming for that aspect. And what we do is now we use the sports to leverage the academics. So even though they may come in for the sports, that is their first option. But we now use academics now to keep them grounded. So yes, we have students from Westmoreland, but most of those students would have come in because of our rich sports program, especially track and field.
Okay, nice. And you hear that, people. So you hear him say 2,100, or was it 2,300? There's still space at Edwin. There's still space at Edwin.
Mr. Wittig, let me caution you. Let me caution you because right now we have a serious space deficit, right? Because of our number, we have 12 streams per grade. So we are from 1 to 12 in terms of homeroom classes. And we still have classes in both auditoriums. So in the old auditorium, we still have classes there. And in the new auditorium, we still have classes. Now, my short-term goal is to remove those homerooms into a more secluded and confined space. So I know you're putting out the plug to say there are spaces, but I listen to say we need the classrooms. So for those alumni and other persons who are listening, we need at least 10 more classrooms to remove those students out of the auditorium before we can take on. Each year we get 400 and odd students per grade. And then we have another 200 requiring transfers. So it is very difficult. So I want to put in that early to say that no, we don't have space at this time. We need classrooms first.
You know, I was just being technical, and you can't blame me because recently I've learned that you have gotten some classroom. Well, I've heard that you've gotten a block. Let me put it that way. And listening to you earlier, there are a number of students who have not yet returned. So that's where the technical aspect, I believe that there's space. But people, you do understand where I'm coming at, and you know why the Westmoreland and the Trelawney and those persons from Kingston and St. Andrew, why they are at Edwin. So space.
But put it in context a little bit.
Yes, sir.
Because we really want to educate, because that is the purpose of this program. At the FC Lati Auditorium, that's the new auditorium, we still have 5 classes in there, and there's no partition.
And
just
sir, what is the class size of those classes?
Looking at roughly 40 students. Now stretch your imagination to have 5 classes in an open auditorium without any partitions. 5 teachers teaching 5 different subjects. Just stretch your imagination.
That's chaotic.
So we had 11 classes in there when I took over, and the ministry gave us 6 classrooms. So we were able to migrate 6 from that auditorium, which we still have 5. So we need to migrate those 5 out of the auditorium, and then at the top auditorium we have 4. So that is where I do my math to say we need 10 form rooms. So even though we received 6, and I want to thank the ministry, and this was a brainchild of the former principal, Dr. Walters. He started the whole process. When I came on, the contracts were already signed, and the building started 2021, roughly about October. And they were completed. So even though they were completed under my tenure, I still have to give credit to former principal for having that vision.
That is so true. I do appreciate that, and you have to give unto Caesar what you want to Caesar. And people, not the Caesar what you're talking about now, not the Caesar that you want to mention in the chat. So let me warn you. All right, sir. Let me play a little hypocrite here. 40 students in one classroom. And I'm sure that we shouldn't be operating in that ratio right now. Can you boast? Can Edwin boast the fact that we have these settings, these chaotic classrooms? We still doing well, the students still achieve above and beyond their levels? Can we boast about that?
Most definitely. Just before the pandemic, our numbers were quite high in terms of our pass rate. I mean, for English, we were in the 70 percent. Right there, I don't have it off the tip of my tongue, but over 70% pass rate for English language and math. We were just over 50%. But the pandemic, English was able to hold their own, roughly about 60, and math dropped to about 45%. So even though the student teacher ratio is high, the teachers at Edwin Allen still continue to stretch and extend themselves to those students. And we still have good passes irrespective of the resources constraints that we have. But it needs to improve. And as a result of that, it is not conducive to have classes in the auditorium. I've said that repeatedly. I've said it to the ministry, and I'm saying it on your show. The board is aware. We have to find a way how to get those students into an enclosed area that they just focus on one class rather than having 5 classes in an open space, and it is just separated by some boards, some chalkboards. We have to find a way how to get them out. So irrespective of the challenges, we still have students coming out above the national average. A matter of fact, last CSEC period, we have about 10 students in the top 20 nationally for visual arts, for mechanic, for agriculture, and for what's the other one I can't remember, for IT. Yes, so we have students still coming out, but what we really want over the long term, short term to long term, is to get all students leaving Edwin Allen High School, not just with CSEC, but with with at least 5 external exams. And those external exams can include CXC, City and Guilds, NCTV. So we must reach a point where if you're not able to leave with your 5 CXCs inclusive of math and English, maths and English, those are the benchmarks.
Yes.
Because people, when they come to do the inspection for schools, only 2 subjects they focus on, math and English. But if you're not able to pass CXC maths, there is also an opportunity in doing City and Guilds. And as a teacher, you should know as well, Sir Wittig, that City and Guilds, that exam is more recognizable than CXC, because CXC
More
is
international
limited to the
resort.
Caribbean. Good, it's limited to the Caribbean. So we are pushing that all students, and we're going to be very stringent, we're going to be very strict on it this year, that if you don't do any external examinations, you will not be marching up on that graduation day. Because we're not going to dress you up, your parents come, and we celebrate that you completed 5 years and you leave with not even one external examination. So that is something to look out for. And my team is right behind me. They say, sir, over the years, we have been graduating students at times. Their indiscipline is poor and they don't do any exams. They just come to school and they don't do much. We have to focus on them leaving at least with 5 subjects, because we have several vocational subjects that they can do if they're not academically inclined. So that is something which is a part of our school improvement plan.
For clarity, though, sir, and it's just a question from me.
Yes.
What about those students who are unable to pay for these examinations?
All right. There are several. As a matter of fact, there are more opportunities today than in your time and my time. If a student maintains a certain average, all his or her subjects will be paid for by by the government. That is the current system. So you have to maintain a certain average and a certain attendance record, and then you are able to benefit from the many incentives out there. But for other students who may not do well academically, there is also support from the Parent Teachers Association. There's also support from a fund that we have, which we call Student Welfare Fund. So yes, once students are having challenges, this year, yes, we have paid for a number of students who's the teachers that have said to the principal that, hey, these students, they are doing well, but they are not able to pay for all the subjects. And we have stepped in and paid for those subjects. So once students are interested, yes, there is a program at Edwin to assist them to pay for these subjects. And even NCT vet, I had a meeting just Wednesday, and I must share this with you. There are some students who we recommend to do the NCT vet. These are the skill areas.
Right.
Yes. And it is just $2,000 per subject. And we're not seeing a number of students taking up this offer. And I had to call in the parents. And I was saying to them that, did you know that having a skill in this dispensation sometimes work out better than even the academics, right? I just installed some cameras at my house, and the gentleman spent a few hours and $50,000, just like that. So we're trying to get into our students' head that once you get an opportunity to come to school, make use of it. So even if you're not academically inclined, there is an opportunity for you to do something. And we won't stop until we get it to these students that, hey, you're not going to come to Compre. I still call it Compre. Right?
Yeah.
You're gonna come to Compre and just warm benches or pass through the system. You must leave with something.
But, sir, are your teachers from the technical and vocational area? Are the teachers selling the vocation areas as how you speak about it?
Very good question. This is something that we are currently assessing. I cannot say definitively that we are doing all that we can at the moment. I think there's room for improvement. But there is one challenge there that we have to fix before we get into selling the program, is the availability of teachers who are willing to sell the program. The other day I needed a BMed teacher, and it took me about 5 months to get a BMed teacher. We just got one last week. I don't know how long he will stay, because these teachers are not staying because they can earn more money elsewhere. So yes, there is a lot of work to be done in the vocational area, but we still have teachers there who are extending themselves. Yes, we need to improve the machines and the different resources in those departments, because some of them are archaic and needs to be 21st century machines. But there is still teachers there, still the machines there. We just need to get the students to buy into those areas. So yes, we need to do more branding, but it is something that we're working on, certainly.
All right, thank you, sir. There are some interesting comments coming from the chat. So Gans Campbell saying that my aunt, Miss R. Cameron, was RE guidance. Yes, Miss Cameron taught me, sir, or Miss. Yes, so thank you very much for highlighting that. Very good lady. A lady that stood up tall, even though she was short, you know. She would have encouraged you every single minute of the day. All right, so Bimbos, good job, Sir Sadi and Sir Harris. All right, Bimbos, nice. Thank you for joining, man. Arisha Rose again. The show is so interesting. Keep doing what you are doing, Sir Harris. Up top. Thank you very much, Rose. Gregory Messam again. Put on the ball of ice there, Mr. Principal. But Mr. Principal, you hear what Gregory said? You must put on the ball of ice.
I'm not sure which voice is that, but I think that is when matches are being played. But no, it's a formal voices.
All right, all right. And Miss I don't sure you want to see this man, when him there match. But let me get back to the formal voice myself. All right. So RR, listen to this, sir, principal. RR saying that need a campus to build in Chowtal for grade 12 students.
Um, um, the idea sounds good, and I like the fact that he says for the grade 12. I'm not sure Chowtal, so that would be a secondary campus to Edwin Allen. You could ask RR, is that a standalone, or is it would have been an addition to the Edwin Allen campus? But we also have to look at resources. How would it be managed? Because Chowtal is a little distance down the road. So the idea sounds good, but I'm not sure if Chowtal would be the ideal spot if it's going to be managed by Edwin Allen High School. I could
Okay.
get that clarification from him if it's a separate institution or is an addition to our campus there in Cranfield.
All right. Thank you very much. Alasha Rose again. Sir Sadi, you guys have to do this show more often. For some of what I'm hearing is new to me and have two kids finished there and one still going there. I love it. Well, Alarisha, now that you become a part of the Saudichress family, you will continue to learn and you will hear much, much more than that. We always bring information to persons who have never heard these things before. And so this is the way, this is the purpose of the Saudichress show. We will bring you entertainment, sports, and education. Okay? So Gans Campbell again seems like they need a new building. Yes, sir. And Mr. Lee, is there space to build more classrooms? Do you have more space to take more classrooms? Seems like these people have some money to give to Edwin Allen, sir.
All right. Yes, I sort of sense that, and I believe that with more engagement and conversation with the alumni, I believe that we are going to get these things eventually. And I see why the school would have went for a young principal to make sure that over his time these things are achieved. But do we have space? Yes. Where we have the grade 7 block, for persons who are familiar with Edwin Allen, that area has zinc roofing. So a suggestion is to raise the roof of that building, to remove the zinc and to have concrete roof in there. So we deck it and we go and we put another block on top. So that would take probably another 5 classrooms there. Where the old auditorium is, that is also zinc roofing. So that could also be removed and you deck there as well and you go on top. So we have to go vertically in order to get the classrooms. We don't have land space. There's also another proposed area where we have the principal's cottage, the former principal's cottage. It is not used for the principal now. We could always remove that zinc roofing as well and go vertical. So yes, we do have space. So for those persons who are asking, yes. So they can reach out to me, Mr. Whitty, and we can have further discussions how we can now realize this dream together.
I must say to you, the man, Mr. Lee, he is a Cuban. A Cuban. I don't know if you know that term in Jamaica, sir. But he's from Garvey Massey High School. Yes, man. But he's also linked to Edwin Allen. This man loves Edwin Allen probably more than how him love Garvey Massey. So he will try and he will support your cause. Yes. Dan is saying she could imagine the noise level in those classrooms. Just chaos. I believe that. Again, Campbell, I would build it where the dorm is currently located, but the space is taken. All right, sir. There should be a remedial graduation list. All right. So don't hold a minute, sir. Don't respond to that yet. Again, student athletes have it harder to keep up. Some, of course, that's true too. Dan Ferran, does National Commercial Bank still contribute to students' exam fees? I'm going through before you respond, sir. Buppy Brown, through because I know that Heart Trust needs plumbing teacher for months now. Still can't find one. So Bupi, you know, should have sent me that advertisement, man. Oh, yeah, say Bupi. Thank you very much for that information. And I'm sure that persons are listening. We probably have a few plumbing teachers or instructors on this show. They will take up the offer. So again, reason for the chowtal, it could accommodate the astro. Oh, no space left on the current ground. So he's talking about the track there, Mr. Principal. So chowtal could have given you that track there.
Yes.
Alasha Rose again. Sir Harris, I'm asking you if the child don't pass 5 or more CXC, he or she won't be graduating. All right, last one now for this moment. Trevor Whittick, bless up Sadi and Mr. Harris. Bless up yourself, Trevor Whittick, the man they call Toad, the skipper in the P-Bar Association. Sir, at least one, address the one about 4 CXCs. If you pass 4 CXCs, would that student be allowed to graduate?
All right. The current graduation policy, there is a policy there, and we don't use graduation formally anymore because according to the mandate and the trust of the Ministry of Education, high school education is now 7 years, but they allow us to have an exit exam function, an exit function for the grade 11s. And the reason being, some of these grade 11 students will not come back to Edwin Allen because of space issue or other reasons. So we have a exit function which replaces graduation. Graduation will now be at grade 13 based on a recommendation from the Ministry of Education. So in answer to that question, the current graduation policy, it doesn't speak to 5 exit. And let me not, it is not CXC now, it is exit examinations.
Okay.
So we have three examination bodies that students have an opportunity to sit exams at Edwin Allen High School. We have the traditional CSEC, which most people are familiar with. We have the City and Guilds, which is out of England. And then we have the NCTVET, which is the national vocational and technical exam, which is set by heart. So once students are able to do at least one, what the graduation policy currently says, you must sit at least one exam. It didn't say you have to pass the exam, but you must at least sit one of these exams. So that is the current policy. Now, going forward, this is something that we'll have to review because a child leaving with one subject, after we have to now assess, have we done enough for this child? What is this child going out into the world to do with one subject? So even though the policy speaks to one, as a school, we now have to have the conversation, and this is going to be, this will include parents as well, to say, what do you want? What is the final product that you want for your child? And once we're able to arrive at some consensus, then we'll have to revisit the graduation policy. But the answer to your question, in the short way, no, they don't have to get the 5 exit examination. That would be my wish. And the school improvement plan that we have is that for these students to leave with at least 5 exit exams, inclusive of CSEC, City and Guilds, NCTVET. It could be 5 NCTVET, if that's possible, if that is possible. It could be 5 City and Guilds. It could be a mixture. So it is not just CSEC. So I just want to make that clear.
Sir, I'm not sure if it is on your side, but again, Alasha Rose is saying that you're gone low again. So you probably need to project some more. Well, let's see what happens. Sir, listen, these are very good plans. Talking about your school improvement plans and your ideas and so on. Let me just ask you a question here that probably a lot of us here locally and abroad would want to know. What was the ratings of your last NEI report or inspection?
All right. So we had an inspection in 2020 before I got there, and there were some areas that we did not do well in.
Speak up a little bit, sir. You're gone low for
I'm
real.
low, but
Yes.
I'm talking
That's
loud. I'm not
that's
sure.
better now. That's better now.
Is better now?
Yes.
All right. So the inspection that was done in 2020, there were some weaknesses, and just to highlight a few of those because that is public information. So it is not something that persons are not aware of, but just for those who are not aware. So some of the areas that we didn't do well in 2020, that is before I got there. Leadership and governance, that was one area that anyhow I believe that needed to improve. There were also some weaknesses in teaching and learning, and there was also an weakness as it relates to the safety and security of students. There's a part of the campus that was not fenced. Now let us fast forward. So we got an inspection last was it October, November, I believe, of last year. That's Christmas term. And the draft findings are in. And I must tell you that all the areas we have done well in, all the areas. The team has given us um, good findings for. The report this year, they don't rank the schools in terms of how they used to rank the schools, satisfactorily, exceptional, need improvement. They just provide a qualitative description of the findings. But by reading, and I can make that, privy to the alumni for them to look at what is happening between 2020 and last year. So yes, we have improved in all areas, and it is showing that we're on a trajectory to raise the bar at the school.
I think we need to clap Mr. Principal. Give him a thumbs up. In a year and a half, we have seen drastic changes, not just on the face look, not just looking on, but those different plans and ideas that he has put in to ensure that the students will benefit holistically at the Edwin High School. Thank you very much, sir. That was very good. Very good
Yes,
so far.
and before you ask your other question, even though you are giving the principal the thumbs up, and it is usually the case, that if a school do not do well, the principal is crucified and ostracized, and you can use all the other adjectives.
Yes.
But if the school does well, then the principal is, commended and applauded for the efforts. But it would be remiss of me to not thank my hard-working team over there at Edwin High School. I have the best board. Yes, I have the best board of management in Jamaica. I want to tell you, I have a very qualified board, past executives. We have board member that, as a matter of fact, Caesar is on the board for those persons who
I,
want to know.
I
Yes,
bet I bet
Mr.
you
Ricky.
never call him Caesar.
He gave me the history
Okay.
of how we got that name, but I won't share it live. So Mr. Ricketts is on the board. We also have former former Bursa. Mrs. Taylor is also on the board, and we have other persons who are well qualified. So I want to thank the board for setting certain targets, and we operate on a theme since I got there: retooling for higher levels of accountability and efficiency. That is what the board drummed in the principal, and the principal pass that on to the other members. We have to raise our bars as it relates to accountability and efficiency, because that is the only way every Ireland is going to improve. And I want to thank my staff, my teaching, non-teaching staff, parents, and importantly, I must thank the vast number of alumni who believe in the vision of the school and they are supporting. We still have others who they will come on board eventually, but I must
True.
recognize those groups that have stayed the course and they are willing to support us because all of these programs that we're doing at Edwin Allen, it needs cash, and I want to pick up the alumni. So I'm not taking the credit. I'm just the driver at this time. So after FC Lati, we had Elroy Ricketts, and then we have Mr. Walters, and then now Jermaine Harris. So it is just a race that we're running, and it is my time to run that leg.
So, sir, I hope you hold on to that button firmly on your leg and ensure that you pass it on with great speed and efficiency. You make
Certainly, sir.
you make mention of the board, sir. Very good qualified board. Few schools can boast about their board efficiency and qualification, so to speak. Am I to believe that in the next 3 years, given that these members are willing, you will have the same board?
Well, you know that question is above my pay grade, right? And I would never
Well, you
try
can
to,
answer.
I would never try to make that decision.
All right.
I will have my recommendation,
Good.
but you know that the appointments of board chairman, that's a purview of the member of parliament in consultation with the principal.
I am almost sure
I,
that
I, I don't have that final say. I
I,
can make my recommendation,
I'm
but
almost sure that you're coming to the end of one cycle. And I'm asking you now,
yes.
based on what you alluded to, would you recommend this board for another term?
Most certainly. Most certainly. However, I can tell you that the current chairman is a former student. He was also a former head boy, Robert Green.
Yes.
I think way back in I think it was the 70s, sometime in the 70s there. But he has indicated that he will not continue for another term. So
Okay.
even if I want him to continue, he said that he's tired. He has done what he has to do to get a principal in place because you know that Edwin Allen was trying to get a principal for some time and there were some challenges. So the fact that he would have achieved that milestone, he thinks that it's time for him to enjoy his well-deserved retirement. Because I can tell you, being board members at Edwin Allen, it can be very exhausting. Tomorrow we have a board meeting, and that will take probably like 6 hours for us to unpack and look at all the varying operations. So you can imagine that when persons retire, Mr. Ricketts, might need some rest. So even though I might try to convince them, I can tell you that they believe that they have achieved what they set out to achieve, and probably it's time that they want to pass it on. But the chairman will not continue. I don't know about the other members, but again, you're drawing me out to respond. I would love to have them, but that is not my
Wow.
recommendation.
Sir, all right, let us leave it right there. Thank you very much,
Certainly,
sir. I
certainly.
wish
And
all
you
those.
know that Edwin Allen made news quite frequently, and therefore I don't want to say anything that might be controversial that you'll hear on TikTok tomorrow. So I would appreciate if we leave that part in terms of choosing the next chairman. That is a purview of the MP, and I think we will hear on the 1st of April as the board comes to an end at the end of March.
Most definitely.
But this board, I must use this medium to thank this board, yes, for doing an excellent job, and I would love for them to continue.
Thank you very much. And sir, I can tell you on the Saudichress show, nothing out of sorts. Everything that we say here and we discuss here are clean matters that will not offend anyone at all. Anyone.
Appreciate
So
that.
thank you very much on that. And sir, I must tell you, in the chat, there are so many thumbs up going up for your after you have made mention of your achievement and your team since the past year and a half, 2 years. So thumbs up right all over. If I have to call all of it, a matter of fact, I've seen over 12 persons giving that thumbs up right now for you. So again, let me share my piece. Thumbs up to you and your staff. So that's the
Thank
first
you.
segment. So I know that you wouldn't have expected to stay here so long. But guess what? This is how the Saudichress show goes. The vibes and the family that stays together. We stays together, so we live together. So that's the first segment, ladies and gentlemen. This you have heard from Mr. Jermaine Harris, the principal of the Edwin Allen International High School. That name is just given by RR, one that is always here and support the Saudi Crest show. I just want to take the opportunity to say thank you to our sponsors, our main sponsors, PIBA, the Past Edwin Allen Ballers Association, Nose and Toad Heating and Cooling System, Dallas Fine Cut Barbering, Deja Vu Retro Party, Taste of the Island Restaurant, Solid Block or Solid Rock Block Factory. We also have Satisfaction and Entertainment and Electronics, Basil Gale, Gregory Mesa, VIP Services, Juki's Shipping, and many more. We have, I must say to you, the great Flasher and Fresh Air, two brothers, Lawrence and Dental Pummel, who have committed to come on board as sponsor for the Saudi Crest Show. Thank you very much for assisting this wonderful show that brings much information and education to the people. So, sir, 59-year in existence, Edwin Allen. I've learned that you will be having a 1 week celebration. Take us through the activities. Let us know, give us an idea of the schedule and what the importance of this celebration is to Edwin Allen.
All right. Again, I am happy to be a part of this show and happy to share all the information of this wonderful school. So, as a precursor, and I built up to the 60th.
Yes.
I want to start there. We're building up to that grand jubilee, 60th anniversary. And this year we'll be celebrating our 59th anniversary. Now, it is a staple event at the school. So, Edwin Allen's birthday is January 27th. Edwin Allen High School birthday, the birth of the school. Not Edwin Allen Leopold Allen, the founder, but the
School.
birth of the school was in on January 27th, 1964. And therefore, we're celebrating our 59th anniversary. So we usually start with a church service. So next week, Sunday, that's January 22, we'll be having our church service at the Franfield Church of God in Jamaica. And this service will be streamed live on YouTube because we realize that a number of persons, locally and overseas, will not be able to join us there in Franfield. So the service will be streamed live for persons to worship with us. Now, on Monday, on Tuesday, and Wednesday, we'll be having devotion and motivational talks to our students and our staff. So we'll be having past students coming in from different year groups there, and they'll be coming in to do devotion with our students and also to give some motivational talks. That's Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. On the Friday, we'll be having our prize giving ceremony for those students who would have done well in last year's exam. It is usually that time when we award our students, those students who did well. And on the Friday now, we're going to have that climax when it's Edwin Allen's birthday. We'll be cutting the cake and we'll be having a blue and white day. So we ask persons, teachers, every students will be in the blue and white, but staff will wear the blue and white. And we will have a band, marching band playing in the morning. We'll be marching somewhere from out at the entrance. Don't know how far we'll start from, but we'll march from the entrance of the school up to the quadrangle. And we will also have prizes and surprises on that day, which is the final day of the Edwin Allen week. But I want to segue into next year. because as soon as we conclude this 59th anniversary week, we're going to start planning for the 60th anniversary. And we want to make that into a massive carnival festival atmosphere. We're thinking about bringing back the all the year groups right there at Frankfield, and we have a grand reunion. We have food, we have music, we have festivities, and I know the planning team, they will put things in place to make sure that this 60th, is a very prestige, and it will go down in history as one of the best celebratory activity. So I want to encourage all the alumni that are listening to listen out for these plans that we will be having for the 60th anniversary, and also to join us for the 59th as we celebrate from January 22 to January 27th. So again, church service, then the devotions during the week, the motivational talk, and if persons want to come in during that time, there is an open invitation. You can always come in and you give your perspective in terms of what your life was at Edwin Allen. And I'm sure that the students will benefit from these talks because mentorship is something that we are big on at Edwin Allen. So we invite all and sundry to be a part of this 59th anniversary, but also to look forward to the big 60 as we celebrate Edwin Allen International High School birthday.
Sir, I realize you love that international high school part of the name, and I can say I'm not too sure what is the channel that you could go to change or add to the name of the school, but we will definitely support you. As you mentioned your prize giving on Friday, sir, I'll take.
Friday, prize giving is Thursday.
It's Thursday. Okay.
Yes.
I'll take the liberty to um, say to you, or probably ask you to include PIBA in your prize giving because I've gotten word that PIBA is interesting in awarding the coaching staff and players of the present football team. So,
Most definitely, because I've had discussions with the chairman,
okay.
Dallas Harris, my namesake, and he asked me to reserve a slot for PIBA. And again, it can't be said too much. The tremendous work and efforts that PIBA is putting in, and I'm sure that this will certainly redound to the benefits of these boys who are representing the school. So certainly on Thursday, PIBA will certainly be there with us to award these boys and the coaching staff.
I'm telling you, sir, thumbs up coming in all over the chat. And, RR, Edunalin 59, is there any souvenir merchandise storefront online?
All right, that's a very good question. And this is one of my pet peeves since I have taken up leadership at Edwin Allen High School. And I really don't like to point fingers or blame anyone, but it is just a reality. I don't think as a school we capitalize on our brand. I don't know if we believe that we are a brand name school. So that is something that we have to work on, and we are now in the process of trying to bring in somebody who knows about marketing, yes, to come and help us to protect this brand. When I go to champs, I see a lot of Edwin Allen flags, a lot of Edwin Allen shirts, but we don't have any. So the answer to your question, RR, no, we don't have merchandise selling, but it is something which your principal will look into. I know for the 60th we will certainly have a lot, and we are looking at trying to get some for champs, but that is something that we are lacking, and we must arrest that problem right away to get these merchandise out to especially the past students. I can share with you that we have identified area at school to build a gift shop, right? A gift shop, merchandise shop, whatever we want to call it, memorabilia shop. But I mean, if a past student come to the school, they must be able to leave with a souvenir. And in short orders, we are going to get that shop up and running. And we also need to look at using the internet to market. But we need somebody who can assist us. So if there are any past students out there who have expertise and experience and knowledge of marketing, then I mean, I give my number because I give everybody my number. I said this principal gives everybody his number because I want to be a principal that is accessible to all. So
You
I'll
could
give you my
re-
number at the end of the show.
you could
You
state it
can reach
now, sir.
out to me.
State the number now.
Yes.
Let me put it in the chat.
All right. So I'll give two. I'll give 876
Yes.
527 4002.
4002.
Yes.
Next.
So that's 527 4002.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have 876 233
Two, three,
8278.
82.
78.
All right, people. So those are the two numbers. I've placed them in the chat so you could get them as soon as they are. Don't let them slip you now. Because, as I said, and he alluded to the fact that he actually has an open door policy, an inclusive policy where all stakeholders are a part of this noble institution. And at any time, he is reachable. I can tell you that is so true. He is reachable. And any one of these numbers, I can say to you as well, he will give you email address if it is necessary. So you can call him and you can make all the necessary arrangements to see if there's any other way to communicate in a more effective or what would I say, transparent way. All right. So again, whole lot of thumbs up, sir. We're coming from Nicky Madden, Trevor Whittick, Fitzroy Thomas, Tamika Hall, Patrick Green, Gibbs is saying proud of what I am hearing. Lawrence Pummels, 2 thumbs up, a whole lot of thumbs up coming up. And of course, sir, you have been doing a wonderful job. And not to mention, you have been so wonderful for the past hour and a half on the Saudichress show. People, I have not gotten a call all night, and the show is coming to an end. Or probably we could go much more, but I'm sure Mr. Harris would need some time. He will have to make himself to travel miles to work tomorrow morning again. So if there's anything that you want to say, the phone lines are up, 423-8454 or 501-6625. That's 876-423-8454 or 876-501-6625. Those are our numbers for you to reach us via WhatsApp. You could do so in the next 5 or so minutes. Sir, 60 year, as you mentioned, coming up. I know you're looking to retain your girls' championship. Can you state, in your view, what you believe? Where will our boys end up? Or where do you see our boys coming up in this championship for this year?
All right. Last year, the boys they placed fifth, and that was an historical achievement.
Yes.
And most of those points that we got, they were from the field events. We have lost two of our top choice. They have gotten scholarships, and they are now in the USA
Okay.
pursuing their studies. And those two boys, they would have garnered most of the points for the boys. Now, this time around, I'm not certain if those boys were replaced, but I see a larger contingent of boys training. Mr. Powell has been doing a wonderful job there on the boys' side, and I'm sure that he has plans in place to maintain that fifth position. So um, I am estimating and suggesting that we are going to maintain that fifth position. One other thing that I need to point out also is that it is very difficult to to maintain both boys and girls teams. If
Truth.
you look right across Jamaica, not many high schools do that, apart from and do it successfully. Yes, you might have St. Jago and you have States. Yes, but pretty much those are the only
And Homewood.
co-ed schools. Co-ed schools. Well, Ormond was, yes, Ormond still do their thing, but in order for a school to dominate girls and to have the boys placed in fifth and to maintain that, it's going to stretch your resources. Yes, so even though I'm optimistic, it is still going to be a challenge. But however, we'll still continue to give the boys the support. I am now in discussion with a company to sponsor the boys. Yes, so we have Nike and they sponsor the girls and the boys currently, but we're looking at separating both teams. But it is early days, but we're looking at separating sponsors, apparel sponsors. So you'd have one um, sponsoring the boys and one sponsoring the girls. We would love to get one for the footballers, but again, it's early days. All right, but there is always a catch for these companies to come on board because they want to get them when they become professionals.
Yes.
So I suspect that is why they are gravitating more to the track and field rather than the football. So I know you'd ask that question, Mr. Whitting, what about the football? But usually those companies try to come on and they develop them from high school. They can't sign them as professional athletes because they're still amateur. But as soon as they get into professional, they tend to take them on.
Sir, I figure that you already acknowledge the proposals from those companies. But just to suggest, I don't know if this is have any power, but just to suggest, let them know that no, Edwin Allen is a big brand. And is an inclusive, all-inclusive brand. So they need to put a little piece, a little much, a little percentage over to the football side of kind.
Yeah, that is true. But the reality, Mr. Whitting and your listeners and viewers, you see, companies support um, winners, yes, and they also look at how they will benefit in the long run. So if you look like, for example, a Tina and Tia, right? A Nike or a Puma or Adidas will always come on board because when they become professional, they would want them to sign with them. The footballers in Jamaica, we don't have that sort of a system. So until we get there, it is difficult to attract these big companies to come on to come and sponsor football or netball or volleyball. So where we have to look is how we can now use whatever resources we have internally and in collaboration with the alumni group to now look at the other sports. But reality, we won't get those companies to sponsor any other sports apart from track and field. That's just a reality.
Sir, I want to really dig down now into more of a sports thing. So far, our conversation have circled or just encapped football and track and field. During my days, and many of us who have passed through this noble institution, as I have represented high levels in football and cricket through to Edwin Allen, I've not heard anything about cricket in the past couple of years. Basketball, at some point, was on top. Netball, we, Edwin Allen, used to be the Homewoods or the Dembys in the past. What are the plans to integrate or to get back these sports competitively in the school? I know you mentioned money, but before finances come, what are the plans really to get them back on track?
All right. So The whole Edwin Allen concept is a you know rounded school. We look at the total development of our students. But as a principal, you have to be very careful that um, whatever resources you have, you don't stretch it too much so that academics suffer. Because there are persons who will tell you that um, because of our rich sports program, academics has taken a beating and a backseat at Edwin Allen. There are persons who have that views. Not that I do agree, but there are persons who subscribe to that view that the focus of the school is on sports rather than academics. So in answering your question, it's a very difficult um, balancing act. Very, very difficult balancing act. So right now we have two sports that are doing well. Let me look at cricket. In your days, you used to have a pitch on the field there, but after your time, that pitch was dug up. The surface was, done over, and that pitch was not put back there. So there is no pitch or any wicket at Edwin Allen to play cricket. So you would have to find an alternative ground. So right there and then it tells you that cricket would not be feasible at Edwin Allen in the short term.
But sir,
So that will take
hold on a bit, sir. You are saying to me the pitch has not been replaced.
no.
And is it difficult for it to be replaced?
Yes, it's going to be difficult.
Why is
Tell
that?
you why. When you were at Edwin Allen, we have to look at the evolution, and I try to look at the logistics and the realities. Yes, when you were at Edwin Allen and others, track and field was not the dominant sport. Yes, track and field was just developing.
Yes.
But but I mean, track and field has now evolved as the top sport. Now, in putting back a pitch there, it is going to affect track and field because right after football, track and field season start. So where would you put cricket? So you couldn't have the boys in the middle hitting a cricket ball and the girls and the boys are training on the same field. It is not like a states that have two field or three, and some schools have, CC have other fields. We only have one field, so it would be difficult or impossible to have football from, does football start from July, yes, to December, yes, knowing that we're doing well now, we're going to December. Then you have track and field starting in October, September, October, thereabout, and finish up in right up to end release, that's about April. So to have cricket running alongside those sports, I can tell you, Mr. Whitty, it's going to be almost impossible. But let's look at the others that you mentioned. Yes?
But hold on, sir. Let me give you one suggestion. Again,
Sure.
it is very tricky, but it is possible. There are a lot of cricketers right now watching and listening to you, and we can reach out to them. So there's an alternative. In that middle, once we get the pitch in, all we probably ask for is a 20-meter radius around that pitch with a net. A net that moves whenever we want it to move. So it's not a physical structure. It's a net that we put up when it is used or when we need it to use, right around. So if you look at international cricket or cricket grounds, they just practice or train anywhere on a particular field. Doesn't matter what are going around, 3 different teams, 2 different teams practicing, warming up, but the nets are there. So it's a possibility, and also it may be a challenge, but it is possible. Again,
Not in the short term.
maybe not in the short term, because we still have to look down the road. Again, too, one of the view what I learned about matting. Not sure if the Jamaica Cricket Association would accept such a thing for competition, but at least for training. There's a matting that they use, especially in the United States. It's used over in the cricketing world as well. That can be rolled out and laid for practice or for games and remove as soon as you are finished. So these are some things that I put on because as a past student, as a past cricketer, I am really looking forward for these aspects to continue because you will have students in your school, sir, who have not played any particular sport because their love is not being offered there.
So I do hear the passion, and I'm certain that it is coming from your antecedents and your experiences as a cricketer. But I am looking at the feasibility right now. Now, another challenge that you're going to have, we have a P department that is skewed towards certain sports. Right now I'm trying to get more assistance for the football program, and that is posing a challenge. So I'm just giving you the facts as they are. That track and field is now the dominant sport. So we have to now have the conversation. How are we going to now bring back cricket? But I was moving on to the other two sports that you mentioned.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Those are more feasible.
Go ahead.
Because they don't compete with the field. So the netball and the basketball, we started to have discussions how we can get back those. Because as you said, netball was once a dominant sport at Edwin, and we used to have basketball. Those two are more feasible. Those are not that costly as cricket, the same cricket that you are batting for, and I'm not shooting it down, but you know that it's going to cost a leg and a arm. So we have to have the conversation, and once you're willing to give us the ideas and we're able to find the funding, then this principle is open to all and sundry. But again, I have to give you the realities as they are.
All right. Thank you very much. Sir, I'm going to go to the chat and I will give you your final moments. And I will not interrupt you. I want you to call on all those who you want to call on, whatever you want to ask for, who do you want to say thank you to, and all the works. So the next couple of minutes is all yours, uninterrupted. But let me just take the few from the chat before we go. Sorry. Gregory Messam, brilliant, sir. RR. You're sure you're sure you didn't hide and trod up the northwest side and the rat nest to our beloved institution? Not sure Miss Harris know those places yet, you know, Mr. Messam. Yes, Sir Gregory, but I'm just ghosting for now. All right, sir. Messam again. Brilliant, Sir RR. We accept you from long time. Sir Greg, I mean, blue blood. Bro, I wonder if you blew right through with Chelsea to RR. But sorry about that. That wasn't my intention. It just came out. Gregory Messam saying netball, basketball, hockey, volleyball, and cricket. Yes, sir. I don't know about the hockey at Edwin, but we could look at that too, since we have very good courts. Maybe not the size for a hockey field, but who knows? RR, swimming, Sir Gregory. Loads of swimmers in the circle. No doubt the next Phelps currently at Compre right now. These members, Sir past students, are very passionate about their institution in a holistic way. And I must say to you, sir, these gentlemen and ladies, they are here for every show that we have, whether sports, entertainment, and education. So you see how well they are in tune to their noble institution. Well said, Mr. Principal. Thank you very much. That's coming from Mr. Lee, sir, the man that I say is a Cuban. Ladies and gentlemen, you know, we are having a very long night, and so we continue. We just have a few minutes. We are far past Mr. Harris' bedtime, and so we want to give him the opportunity to close the show, to say his final words of encouragement, of asking. You know, principals are professional beggars, ladies and gentlemen, so don't be too disturbed if you hear any sort of begging terms or words used on this show. So let me take Gans Campbell. Yes, make Compre and netball power again. Thank Thank you very much for that, Campbell. Yes, that's true. I am sure that Mr. Harris will ensure those sports that he mentioned outside of cricket will get back on the map of Edunallen. So again, Mr. Harris, uninterrupted, sir. Whatever
All
you
right.
want to say, it's your turn.
All right. So again, I want to thank you, Mr. Wittig, for inviting me. And I'm always available. Once you give me the invitation, I will certainly clear my schedule because I have said from day one that I want to be a principal that all and sundry can reach out to. Yes, so I've made myself available. I've stretched myself, but I am willing to stretch even more. And I want to say to the alumni, especially the alumni that are on this program, that are grateful school, yes, really appreciate what you're doing. It is not, it is not possible for schools, especially in Jamaica, to do well without a strong alumni association. And so far, I have felt the support, I have felt the energy and that synergy between school and the past students association. But I must identify some groups that would have been there from the start of my journey and they are still with me. We have the Mid Atlantic chapter of the association. This chapter is led by Mr. Colin Borrell. This chapter is one of the most, formalized group. It's one of the group that long and in terms of long and lasting group. And I must commend these members. Most of them are from the early years of the school in the 60s and 70s, and they continue to extend themselves. They continue to contribute to academics and sports and to infrastructural development. Just recently, I got 10 tanks from this group, which will go towards our water harvesting project. So we want to thank the Mid Atlantic chapter for their continuous support to their beloved alma mater. Also, I want to thank PIBA. I know PIBA is just about 2 to 3 years old, and since I came on, um, we have had a tremendous relationship. These past Edwin Allen High School ballers, they are serious about making Edwin Allen into a powerhouse as it relates to football. And I'm sure that their dream and aspirations will be met eventually in winning the Da Costa Cup competition. So even though we took the Ben Francis, I'm sure that the team wants us to take the Da Costa Cup competition, and especially we would want to meet CC in the final and defeat them. So I want to thank PIBA. They have contributed towards the football program, not just gear, but they have also contributed to nutrition and to medical and transportation expenses of the boys. And I want to say kudos to you, gentlemen. I know that Saudi is a part of that group, and that group is led currently by Dallas Harris, and we are in conversation regularly. So we want to thank that group. There's also another chapter, the DMV, right? That group is led by past student Garfield Reed, and that group is also probably about 5 years old. They just had their dinner dance in Maryland. I was there,
Okay.
and they are now looking at how they can assist us in all areas, but especially in the academics area. We have 15 departments at Edwin Allen. Sports is just one, and we have to look at how we can get funding for the other 14 departments. So I want to thank the DMV chapter. They are contributing, and we say thanks once more. We also have the Edwin Allen Athletes Foundation. This group is relatively new,
Soon take
but
you.
they
Soon
are
take you. Soon take you.
throwing a serious punch. And this group is led by no other than Jacqueline Gill. And for those persons who know Jacqueline Gill, she don't take no for an answer. And if she says, Mr. Harris, I'm going to send you X amount, I can put on my pot expecting to get that. And I want to thank Jacqueline Gale. She was the first student athlete to receive a scholarship from Edwin Allen High School. And she has now rallied those girls and boys who would have gotten scholarship, and now they're making their mark all over the world. And I want to thank that group. And there are some local groups. Yes, we have Coy Roach. He's one of the pioneer members, again, from Edwin Allen High School. There is a group that he coordinates. Those groups are not that formalized, but they do meet, and they do, all the God is a part of that group, Jovan Johnson and those guys, and they really pool their resources, and they're assisting us in whatever ways they can. So I want to say kudos to them. And there are other year groups that are out there playing their part, may not be that structured, but we want to thank them. And eventually, my goal is for us to have an umbrella association. We do not have an umbrella association currently, and that is something which we need to achieve. But I am very thankful for those groups that have formed, and I'm encouraging the other alumni, that the other alumnus that are not a part of this alumni group, to find one of these groups, or you can always reach out to the school individually if you have anything to contribute, whether it's academics, whether it's music, whether it's choir, whether it's quiz, whether it's sports. We have all the programs, and we are asking for your support. So I want to thank those groups. All right. Also, I want to thank again my team there at Edwin Allen, running such a big school. You can imagine it's not an easy task. But when you have members who are dedicated and they're passionate and love what they do, it makes my job easy, which is just to, be that gel, that sort of a glue to hold all the pieces together. So again, I am happy that I am at Edwin Allen at this time, and I want to commit and to say to the vast number of past students that your principal have your school at his the center of his plans. And I will make sure that I'll not drop the baton, but I will continue to run this race for whatever time it may be, so that Edwin Allen will transition into even a more powerhouse in academics, in skills, and definitely in sports. Thanks again for having me, and we look forward to continuing this wonderful journey. I must share the theme before I close. The theme for this year is celebrating 59 years of sustained commitment to nation building. Yes, and repositioning for the future. Let me say that again. Celebrating 59 years of sustained commitment to nation building, repositioning for the future. That is what we will focusing on this year, and we're looking forward to the 60th anniversary. Thanks again, Mr. Whitty, and we look forward to doing this all over again at your invitation.
Thank you very much, Sir Harris. What a wonderful night we have here. What a camaraderie. And this brings back so much history, brings back so much good time to us. Just listening to you, sir, interacting with you tonight, I've given the Saudichress show a whole lot of pluses. And I must say, this has been one of our greatest shows so far in terms of numbers. We have seen a whole lot of likes, 44 likes tonight. And we have had over 180 views throughout. Consistently, we have over 50 viewers. But we must say to you, you have given me tonight, the Saudichress show, a lot of grade. You have given us enough information for us to dwell with. You have given us information that has shared, the information that you have shared with us has given us a belief that our beloved school is right and tracked and will go to the best. Will be one of the best, if not in the near future. Mr. Harris, what a night we have tonight, sir. But before you go, I just want to mention this to everybody. I'm awaiting. I hope that Alwyn Bryan would be able to join us live, but I am not seeing him yet. But we just want to bring about a sort of story advertisement, really, where Mount Pleasant Academy, in association with Generation Next, will be presenting a combined scholarship and opportunity for youngsters between the ages of 13 and 24. So it reads, you want to play for an elite international football club? Do you want a football scholarship? This is your chance to get recruited. Generation Next and Mount Pleasant Academy and invites you to players invitation. All right, our players identification combined. January 20 to 28, 2023. Venue Mount Pleasant Academy, and this is, as I said, is open to both males and females. These are the players ranges from age 13 to 24 years old. You can be from a high school, college, university, pro or semi-pro clubs, wherever you are, as long as you find yourself within that age group. The registration fee is 40 British pound. Very interesting. And when you look at the persons or the recruiters, you may see how this is. So get recruited by scouts from US, UK, and Dubai. So you can imagine, we look at £40 as a lot of money, but I believe it's worth it. So you can register online at Mount Pleasant Academy, Runaway Bay, St. Anne, Jamaica, Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. You could call at 876-973-0992 or 876-913-2077. People, the registration deadline is tomorrow, Thursday. That's Thursday the 19th. And you may do so online and or at the Mount Pleasant Academy. With this in mind, though, I just want to share with you that the Saudichress show, in association with the Mount Pleasant Academy, will be sponsoring one player towards this combine. And so I've gotten this one spot free of cost. It will not cost the player anything. And so we have selected Edwin Bryan, one of our, not farmer, but he was just one player from the just concluded Doncaster Cup team. I hope that Alwyn would have joined us tonight. So he is now registered to take part in that combine. January 20 to 28. We have not yet get the schedule of what will happen during the days, which age group in a particular day, but very soon that will be released. So congratulations to Alwyn Bryan from the Edwin football team. You have a chance to showcase your talent at the combine come next week. So again, these are things that happen on the Saudichress show, Mr. Harris. We not just entertain, but we have a lot of giveaways for further development for young
Right, so I have a
athletes.
surprise. I know that you said that my time is up, but I want to have a surprise.
No problem.
Um, at school, the students know me as a singing principal. And they know that even though my voice may not be that melodious, but they appreciate the fact that I'm trying to lead from the front in everything. We have a school song, and this song is a song that I love. And it's a song that I want to share with your audience.
Go ahead.
This song was composed by a teacher. He's no longer there, unfortunately. He resigned shortly, lately. But this song was composed by Mr. Gamil Grant. It's a school song, and I don't know if you know your school song, Mr. We think if you had a school song in your day. Did you?
Yes, there was a song there.
Well, but this song, I don't know what year it was composed, but I want to do it. And as some persons would say, don't listen to the voice, listen to the words. So if you give me, permit me, I just want to do this song for your audience.
Permitted, granted, sir.
In the valleys of North Clarendon, where the streams and rivers run, lies a noble institution where the proud have always come to be trained for destined conquest, to achieve and overcome We will be the great example for the world to gaze upon. Transiamos in exemplum, Edwin for the strong. Transiamos in exemplum, Edwin moving on. Upwards on to face the challenge, with our God to lead us on. Never wavering in battle, never doubting where we stand. Our talents are unquestioned, our determination strong. With this banner we will conquer, our motto is our song. Transiamos
See
in
the
exemplo,
example.
Edwin for the strong, transiamos in exemplum, Edwin moving on.
Big song.
Transiamos. Thank
Big,
you.
big song. Listen, my boss, you're sure you're not the right job? You're sure you're not the right, you select the right career? Well, guess what? That must can take you through. Well done, Mr. Harris. I can tell you, people, you see the type of principal we have. Can't be any better an example for our own students. I can imagine why they loved you as a singing principal. You have a lot to offer, sir. Thank you very much. All right, so this is where, oh, Ronald White, you're just coming in, boss. Ronald White, late again, was out playing domino. Mr. Harris, big up yourself, my friend. Stacy Salaman, big up, great show. Thank you very much, Stacy. Thank you very much. Again, Gans Campbell, the kids should sing that song every morning. I am sure that
Yes,
Mr. Harris have it.
General Assembly, every General Assembly we do that.
I remember, sir, if my memory serves me right, Mrs. Ricketts, a former drama teacher, she always sing. We had a little thing in my time going on. I don't think it reached much far because I can't say the reason why, but I remember those little tips of words. We probably could get back. I don't know if there's any history of that little song there. So well done to that person who wrote the song. What's his name again, sir?
Mr. Gamel Grant.
Mr. Gamil Grant. Thank you very much, Mr. Grant. Well done. Well, I wonder if it's the Grant who taught electricity,
No, this
electrical.
Grant did visual arts, but he's also, I think, a recording artist,
Oh,
master artist.
very good. Well, boy, hard to keep those persons in,
No,
in
we
the
gotta keep.
school. All right, so very good. And this is where we end. What a note to end on. A very beautiful singing from Mr. Jermaine Harris. Again, sir, thank you very much. And thank you very much to all the viewers, the first time viewers. I am so happy for you. You have made the Saudichress show very large. We have improved. This is the first time that we have seen so many views on one night live during our show. I hope you continue to join us on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays on the Saudichress show. You'll never know who will bring. You'll never know what information you will get. And so this is where we give you all the sports, the entertainment, and the education. This is the Saudichress show, and this is where we leave you. Good night.